when we are comparing and ordering decimals, we are going to use the same skills and strategies that we do when we compare and order regular whole numbers. So in here we have a chart, and we'll just say this is the number of books each class read during the week. So we could say, let's compare the number of books that Mrs. Bloom read to the number of books that Mrs. Hafner's class read. So I would want to compare 4 and 4/100ths to 4 and 2/10ths. To do this, I find it helpful to stack our numbers so that we can compare directly the same place values to each other. So in that case, it is very important to make sure that you line up your decimal points. So I have 4 and 4/100ths, and now I'm going to have 4 and 2/10ths. They're lined up by place value because my decimals are in a row. So my ones places are together, my tenths places are together, and my hundredths places are together. Now, this number doesn't have a hundredths, but what I can do is I can put an invisible 0 in there because 2/10ths is the same as 20 hundredths. So now all my place values have a match. So at this point, I go through and I look at each place value. So I could say, okay, starting at the highest, 4 ones and 4 ones. Both of those are the same value, so that information is not helpful to help me discover which number is larger than the other. So I move on. I have 0/10ths and I have 2/10ths. That information is helpful because I can see that the number that has 2/10ths is greater than the number that has 0/10ths. It doesn't matter that this one has a hundredths because 2/10ths is greater than any number of hundredths. So we could say that 4 and 2/10ths is greater than 4 and 4/100ths, so Mrs. Hafner's class read more books than Mrs. Bloom's class. Now, if I said, let's take all the number of books that each class read and let's order them from least to greatest. We would do the exact same thing that we did over here. We would just do it with all of our numbers. So we stack them and make sure that our decimal points are the ones that are lined up so that everything is even. And then we are going to go through and we are going to compare. So over here, I see some helpful information. We have 3 ones, 3 ones, 4 ones, and 4 ones. Now, I know that it's least to greatest, and the ones with 3 in the ones place are going to be my least or my smallest numbers. So I don't have to look down here yet. I'm going to just look at my top 2 numbers. So we have over here, we have 1/10th, and then we have 7/10ths. So 1/10th is less than 7/10ths. So my first number would be 3 and 124 thousandths, and my next number would be 3 and 7/100ths. So now I have used both of those numbers, and I can move on to the numbers that have 4 in the ones place. Now over here, I look and I see, oh, I've got 0 in the tenths place and 2 in the tenths place. So the smallest one is 4 and 4/100ths, which means my greatest number is 4 and 2/10ths.